There will be some people on the live stream. All right.
Okay, we're going to do this. You guys all good? Ready to start? All right. Say hello to all of you that are watching on the live stream. Hopefully you're able to hear us. Hopefully you're able to see us. Hopefully the technology works. We're here at the ISTELive Conference in Philadelphia, right here at the Samsung booth, getting ready to talk about Instagram-worthy, brain-friendly teaching strategies. So we're going to talk about some cool things that we can do with images because, you know, lots of those social media have to do with images and videos and everything. So make learning kind of feel like that. That could be pretty cool. So that's what we're going to be chatting about in this presentation. Like I said, we're here at the Samsung booth. I get to do this presentation on this great Samsung WAC interactive display, which is super cool. Love the color, love how interactive it is. Super easy to use. If you can use a cell phone, you can use this thing. So you get to see me demo on that a little bit during this presentation. So if you're looking for a link you can take back with you, because you know, you come to these conferences, you don't always remember everything. So if you want to hang on to a link that you can check later with session resources, really for all of my sessions, including the ones that I did for the conference outside of the vendor hall, for all the ones in the vendor hall, you can go to ditch.link/ISTE23, ditch.link/ISTE23. And if you're watching this on live stream, watch the comments. I'm going to drop that link into the comments. With all the ones I'm doing in the vendor hall today, there are live streams that we did that are now video recorded. So if any of you want to see any of my previous sessions, too. So, all right. So let's dive into this. I'm going to ask you a question first. Actually, there's like multiple questions to see what you think on this. And if you're watching this in the live stream, answer this in the chat, okay? Number one, what did you like to draw as a kid? Number two, did you watch any of those edutainment shows? You know, like it might have been cartoons or some other sort of thing for kids that are supposed to teach you. And then finally, what were your favorite picture books? Did you have any of those? Anybody? Do you have one? What was it? Go Dog Go. Yeah, good old Dr. Soup. Yeah, that's a good choice. I love it. Anybody else? Oh, Madeline. Yeah, I can't go wrong with Madeline. That's a good one. Do you have one? So, well, Sesame Street counts. That's like the classic one, right? Yeah. Anything? Sesame. Yeah, absolutely. No, those are all very good ones. So, and if we think about it, you know, we're talking about picture books and drawing and, you know, these shows and everything. It's all very visual images and videos and all of that stuff. So part of the reason that I wanted to bring this up is that our brains love images. It's part of the reason that kids see picture books. The kids see picture books and that they watch some of these shows, right? There's a couple of things related to this that we can use in our classrooms. There's this thing I'm going to tell you about real quick called dual coding theory. Y'all heard about dual coding theory? Okay, so dual coding theory, if you're not familiar or if you're not familiar, dual coding theory is this idea that our brains learn through images a little differently than they learn through picture or through words. Yeah, thank you. I'm starting to lose my words at this point in the day. They learn differently through images than they do through words. So if we have a nice verbal visual mix together, for long-term memory, it has great memory benefits. And so, I mean, if you think about magazine ads, billboards, like all of those things, a lot of times they have pictures because that's what draws in, that draws an eye, right? And so some of my favorite ways to teach in this way have to do with some of the social media that we have that is very, very visual. And so instead of actually using the social media, I started to have this idea at one point. Like, what if we have activities that felt like some of these social media tools that kids really like, but they don't actually use the social media? My favorite place to do that is Google Slides. Google Slides are PowerPoint. Maybe that, right? Yeah, maybe this one won't cut out. So Google Slides or PowerPoint because kids have access to that, right? Do they have access to all of the social media that looks like this? Probably, well, on their phones they probably do. Are they supposed to use the school? That's a whole different story, right? So I started to think, could we repurpose some of these activities? Could we repurpose some of those activities that look like some of the social media that kids really, really like? So I'm going to give you a link in just a second to a whole bunch of Google Slides templates that you can make a copy of and use yourself. So you don't have to rework all of this. But take a look at some of this stuff. It's pretty good. Like let's start with Instagram. You got Instagram stories, right? Instagram stories, you're familiar. It's like you have images, videos, little images and videos throughout the day. And you just drop an image and a video throughout the day, and people watch it by hitting play, cycling through it like a slideshow. You have a tool that's kind of like a slideshow, right? So what if we just make the slides look like Instagram stories? And it's been really cool to see what some of the teachers have done with this. For instance, this one right here, this was a teacher that had kids do the road trip project. If y'all ever done the road trip project with kids, I used to do it in my Spanish classes. They would pick a place that they wanted to go on vacation, and they would like get all of the details. Where are they going to go? How are they going to travel? How much is it going to cost? Where are they going to stay? Where are they going to eat? They gather all that information together. Do something like that. A lot of times, kids will have to tell about that in a document. It's not any fun, right? So what if we told about it in like Instagram posts or like Instagram stories? So we post on these slides. Adam, how's it going? So we post on these slides that look like Instagram stories. And so instead of let's write about it in a document, it's like let's talk about it on social media. Now they're reporting back on like this. So I love some of these things that the kids put. This is a park that they wanted to go to in Detroit, Michigan, and it says only 0.2% of my overall budget. Great deal, right? And this one right here, Museum of World Treasures in Wichita, Kansas. This one was going to cost 7% of this kid's total trip budget. All of his vacation, 7% of his budget was going to be blown on the Museum of World Treasures, which I love. But by doing that, it kind of makes it feel a little more relevant. And then study guides. This teacher was using it for study guides, having kids kind of like tell about what they learned and recall it by putting it into like an Instagram story. This is another one that I think is cool. It looks like a Snapchat. Because in Snapchat, they've got these games that you can bounce back and forth with your friends. It's a simple this or that game. The difference that it looks like the Snapchat game. It's designed up to look like Snapchat. Only you put questions related to your content on it. I mean, students kind of like type why they picked the answer. All just in Google Slides, right? Now, if you love the idea of some of the stuff you saw just there, that's just scratching the surface. That's just the beginning. We've got an entire library of those pre-made Google Slides templates. That link right there. It's like if I did Teachers Pay Teachers, I would put these things up on Teachers Pay Teachers and charge some money for them. I don't do Teachers Pay Teachers. I do like Matt Gives Teachers. So we're going to do that instead. So if you want to get any of those templates, this is the place to go right there. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about a couple of other quick activities you can do that tap into these same things, like interactive posters, for instance. And this is something that I built out in Google Drawings. You can do it in Google Slides. You can do it in Canva as well. And what's neat about these, it's kind of like instead of the traditional poster, you gather images, you summarize some text, but they're clickable, right? You can click on the links and go off and see more information. What's nice about doing something like this, like an interactive display, is that if you bring them up on here, you can click on it and go, you can go do all the things with it in the interactive display, which is super cool. Let's go. What's going on? I really just wanted to go to this slide. Thank you. going to sorry, just going to reopen it on the next slide. One time. Go to the next slide. Go to the next slide. Please go to the next slide. You got to see me one place right here, right in front of you. Oh, hey, we got it. All right. One place that you can get, right? Yeah, you're like, what is he going to do? How is this going to work out? One way that you can get images for those types of activities is to go to this website, photosforclass.com. And all images that students can use, like responsibly, like they have the license for it, they have the ability to use it, and then it embeds all of the attribution information into the bottom that they're supposed to use, which is super cool. Next slide. Comic strips, this is another cool one that I really like to use, especially when you do it inside of Google Slides. When you go inside of Google Slides, when you go to insert image, there's an option that says camera, and it just pops open a webcam, right? This is a really nice tool to be able to make these comic strips because you can have students snap pictures of themselves. And then add little speech bubbles, kind of like I did in the example right there. So it's another neat way where the students are kind of like the star in the activity, which I kind of like. And of course, there's lots of things that you can put into those images with comic strips. Icons, anybody a big fan of Bitmojis? You all love your Bitmojis? Yeah? No? Okay. There's also avatars that are kind of like that within Canva too. That's really fun. Webcam pictures, photos, paintings, even icons. One of my favorite places to get icons is called the Noun Project. You'll heard of that before, the Noun, N-O-U-N, project.com. It's one of my favorites. And then what's also fun too is you can add characters to it. You know the comic strip where I had the picture of myself going? What if you take a picture of like Shakespeare or Sir Isaac Newton and just set it down right next to you? And then have the speech bubbles going back and forth between you. It's almost like having a conversation with the historical or something. Super cool. The caption, this activity is kind of similar. What if you take a historic photo or a work of art, throw speech bubbles or thought bubbles on top of it and say, what would this person be thinking in this moment? Which is another fun one to be able to do. And of course, a lot of these activities really do sort of move up through the web's depth of knowledge and all the different levels of it. Especially in that last activity, the capturing this, I think, which is like low prep plus deep learning, all good stuff, right? Because we're all about the low prep, especially. So another one real quick, I know we're getting close here, is infographics. You're using some of those icons and pairing them with a little snippet of text. You know that link I gave you earlier to the templates? There's actually some infographic templates in there where you can drag and drop the icons into place, which is quick and easy to be able to make these. So infographics is another one that brings that verbal visual mix together. Those are a couple of examples of some that I made in Google Slides with icons and little snippets of text. I talked about the Noun Project earlier. So one more time, there's that link, which I think you all got, ditch.link/templates, gets you to a whole bunch of those brain-friendly activities that are super, super visual. There's your summary. You see, I'm trying to kind of like hustle through this to get you all out of here. I did want to tell you about this tomorrow, right here in this booth. They've got 100 copies of my new book called AI for Educators. So they're giving them away totally for free. It's going to be at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow, right here in this booth. And here's the thing that's a little bit of news. In one of those books, there's going to be a $500 Samsung credit So it's almost gonna be like the golden ticket, hidden into one of those books. So we'll have to see who ends up with that. So, and then there's one other thing I wanted to show you real quick. Feel free to take a picture of this if you want to hang on to it. If your school has like ESSER funds that they need to get rid of, or if somebody's looking to get one of these nice Samsung interactive displays, you can use my code DITCH15 at checkout to get 15% off. And like when you do the cost of one of these things, 15% is a significant amount. So anyway, that's all available to you as well. So hopefully got some good ideas out of that. I'm impressed that you all have been like sitting here. It's like the end of the day a little bit. We've gone through a whole bunch of stuff. It's kind of nice in these little sessions. You can get lots of ideas in a short amount of time and then just move on with your life. So anyway, I hope that's been helpful to you. Thanks so much for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, thanks so much. And thanks to all of you watching on the live stream that are still with us. Have a wonderful day. Thanks.
Don't get this. You're good. Don't worry about it.